Hey, everybody, welcome to another edition of the Wake Up Late with Dougie show on a special night on Monday. I got shit to do tomorrow, so we're going to do this on Monday. And I'm joined with two of my friends and fellow comedians, Mr. John McClellan.
Hi, everybody. Hello.
There you go. And my friend Cris. I was just going to look at your name and I say, he figures, dude, this is a comedian for you. I just came is on his name list. You didn't see that, or you have it on?
No.
Well, you spell it wrong anyway. So
yeah, it's Cume.
Yeah, and Cris Machado, everybody's here with us.
Hi guys, welcome. I'm the guy who came.
Yeah, and welcome to the show. Which got a comedy?
Well, series of comedy, yeah, but not this last one. 40,000 comedians. Yeah. No, it was. Listen, man. Before we even get started about the World Series of Comedy, I sell that to everybody. And it's not just because I was one of the top three. It's the funnest competition and the fairest competition. It's not really a competition. You're not really competing against each other. You're competing for, to get somewhere. Yeah. And you've done it a lot of times, and you know that there's things that come out of that, good things that happen.
Yeah, and speaking of winning, Mr. Cris Machado, out of nowhere wins. What, you took second in San Francisco Comedy Festival?
Yeah, I was supposed to be at the World Series of Comedy, and it was the year that they went up to the new location out of Vegas, and I just went further than I thought I would in the other one, and I was like, I can't,
Yeah, I remember talking to Joe about it, and obviously, I really like the guy and everything. I'm like, we're all like, what do you want him to do? I mean, nobody understood. That was the year. That's right. That was the year. See, John, you're lucky because Cris didn't get to make it out there. Which, by the way, if you're going to miss one of the World Series of Comedy, that was the one to miss. The location wasn't that stellar, right? I mean,
it seemed like they were getting their footing on like a new location.
Yeah, and the crowds weren't that great.
What was this at St. Louis?
Yeah, no.
That was a year after I won.
No.
I was there for a couple of days.
Where was the place? Where was the place you and I were at when you took third? That was in like Illinois somewhere. Where the hell was that?
It was in Indiana, like halfway between Cincinnati and Louisville, but in Indiana at a casino. So, if you weren't staying there, which was, there really wasn't much cooking. Unless you like to eat possum and stuff. But
it was such a bad location.
Self-contained.
It was such a bad location that Uber didn't even show up there.
No.
Jesus.
There was one car picking people up to the airport and taking them back, one van. And you had to schedule it when you left. But that was the one, I think that's the first year we were away from Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this past year was great because we were back at the LA Comedy Club, which... at the Stratosphere, so it's being in Vegas was great. So
yeah, I haven't done it since. I really enjoy it. I think I'm going to do it again.
Yeah, you were
in San Francisco. You did the San Francisco comedy competition.
Yeah, I was doing it that year. I think it was 2018.
Okay, yeah, because I did that a couple of years ago. I went to the finals, but it's just I love that competition. It's great, but some of the venues are a little goofy.
Oh yeah. But some of them are insane. I think we had one with 5,000 people.
Yeah, well, yeah, the Santa Cruz.
They really mix it up, which I like.
The theater where I did it, Hart was there like 3 days before.
Nice.
It was great. So when I did San Francisco, like the first night we were at a gay Hispanic nightclub in Oakland, California, all right, with no spotlight. And I come in second to a gay guy. All right. The next night, we're in a theater, a little theater in San Francisco, but with no microphone. All right. And I come in third. And then the next night, we're at the Jewish Community Center of San Francisco. Beautiful 1,500 seat theater style seating, immaculate sound, immaculate everything. They had an iron backstage. I come place where I could take over, and then we go to Santa Cruz and hit some longshoreman's bar on Sunday night, and end up wrapping up the week that way. But
yeah,
when I was in the room at UCal Berkeley, all right, and I finished fourth that night because they hated somebody worse than they hated me because they're like, "Why is my dad yelling at me?" The next night is at for the world. All right, and they were all about diversity. And the show was, you have a gay guy, you have a guy of Philippine descent, you have a Canadian guy, and you have a guy of Indian descent, and then an old angry guy from New York City. So I don't do very well at all. But at night at dinner, the wait staff recognized from being on TV. I'm like, anybody else want to come in last? Like, it wasn't set up for me to win, but I did everything I wanted to do. I made connections. I met new people. I got into new clubs. That's what I wanted to do. A little traction, and San Francisco will do that for you.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I liked most about it was that they kind of put you in every possible comedic venue you could possibly think of.
You're 100% right.
It gives you a wide array.
That's
so, you got to be funny. But the list of guys that didn't win that thing is like a who's who of comedy.
Oh, yeah. And you mentioned a few gay guys, which makes your story unbelievable because, I don't think there's any gay people in San Francisco. So.
No, they're all left. It just got too pricey. They're up in Oregon.
I'll take your word for it. I have yet to enter that contest. I know it's a bit of a marathon, right? Like you're there for a few weeks.
3 weeks.
Yeah, so it's not like
4, because there's 4 weeks. The first 2 preliminary weeks, you're in either one of those. Then if you go to the next round, semifinal week, next round, finals week. So yeah, it's road tested, man.
Yeah, that's
the only marathon I ever did.
Yeah. It's I haven't done that. It's a long time, man. You got to spend a lot of money. You got to get your own housing and stuff, right? It's
people are pretty good with that,
Yeah.
I don't know what you found when you were there, but I had some things set up with people. I had a buddy over in Oakland that was helping me out, and you have people down here and over here, but there was a couple of nights where somebody didn't have lodging and everybody pitched in to get, all right, you could stay here, you could stay here. There's a lot of carpooling. It was a real collective unit,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we were like a commune. There was like a bunch of us every week just staying in the same place. And then towards the end, John Fox, who runs it, he helped us out a bunch. He would just be like, hey, got you a hotel. I was like, all right, cool.
Oh, that's nice.
It was cool. I loved it.
Yeah, it's super cool thing, man.
And the guy who won it, the guy who came in first, actually took the winnings and split it up among the top 5, so everyone ended up with the same amount of money.
Really?
Who won that year? Who won that year?
Dave Nihill.
Okay.
Irish guy. Really cool guy.
Okay, yeah. No, Miles Weber, I think, won it the year before, and then Kabir Singh won the year I was there.
Oh, nice. Oh, Kabir's hilarious.
Yeah, he's funny as hell.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, that was nice of the guy to just share all that money.
It was, yeah.
He must have.
But he's good at everything. The dude's got TED Talks and stuff.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that guy, he's a great guy. He really is. And it was very nice of him to do that. But, it definitely took a load off of everyone for spending 3 weeks' worth of money staying places. Like, everyone walked away with more money than they left with.
Yeah, that's good, dude. Yeah, it's nice when people do nice things, bro.
Yeah, I'll let him do it.
Yeah, would you have shared it if you won, dude?
Nope.
Nope.
Nope. Would you?
No. Probably wouldn't. I don't know why I would. You know what I mean? Sometimes you get into a contest like that when you're in the top 5 or 6. Sometimes you say, hey, you make deals with people like, hey, if we win, you want to just chop it.
Split the pot.
Yeah, you want to just go ahead and chop it now. Make some arrangements.
That's what they do in the World Series of Poker. You get down to the final couple guys, everyone's like, okay, let's just cut this up right here. That way, take the pressure off and let's play cards.
Yeah.
Why not? I was in a pretty decent sized tournament where it was like 2,500, and I made the final table. And then the last money guys, like 5 people left, and they're like, "You want to chop?" I'm like, "I'm fine with that." You know what I mean? Yeah. Plus, I wasn't the I wasn't like I was like short stack, so I was like, "Yeah, sure,"
Yeah. Okay.
I do that every time. I don't have the attention for poker to get that. Anytime I get to the final table, as soon as someone offers a chop, I'm like, sure.
Yeah, why not? Let's move on and go smoke some weed. Well, that's awesome, dude. And this year was good for me. I made it to the top 6 in the World Series.
Nice.
And that was pretty cool. But if I just get frustrated, the top 3 would have been nice. You know what I mean? Because then you get back up there again and do it. But They got, like you said, the best thing about those things is exposure and work, and got work from that anyway. So, speaking of work, I was a little reluctant to talk about one of these topics because everybody's telling me, why don't you talk about the topic about GameStop and stuff like that? And, what happened with the I don't know, with the Robinhood trading systems and giving it to the big man. Now, I know John's into that. I know John knows a bit about the markets and investments and financial stuff. Cris, I don't know how aware or how proficient you are.
I'm aware of the market, but it's not the same market we're playing.
I'm proficient with GameStop.
Yeah, the actual place.
The actual place.
I have to be cautious because I am a licensed fiduciary and I give advice. So please, if anybody's listening to this, there is no way that I'm telling you to do anything when it comes to this. So that's why I'm going to leave most of the questions to you guys if you have any. But, a lot of people don't understand it. I'm really hoping, though, like the idea as a comic. Like I've spoken to Joe sometimes about doing a little seminar at the festivals about how to make money or how to manage your money, because a lot of people never are taught how to manage money. Like I'll tell you another thing. Were you guys ever taught how to wipe your ass?
No.
You like? Did anybody ever say you fold it, you crumble it, you?
Omerta.
I've had a bidet my whole life, so I haven't had to worry about money or wiping.
Really, you had a bidet, but you don't have stocks.
Yeah, exactly.
That's I don't understand how that works. I'd never had a bidet, but I got stocks. I should have
a bidet.
A bidet. I should have a bidet. I should, but I'd be, because a lot of people don't. Like, you don't, and I did that for the Boys Clubs of America, Boys Girls Clubs. I did some little class with people how to, how to think about money and shit. But you guys got some retirement money? You guys got some money put away? Cris?
I live in a van, dude. I'm basically banking on a early death, a fun first 50 years, and then see you later.
All right, let's talk about this for a second, because you got Dad here. John has already called himself a dad, angry dad, and I'm a bit of an advisor. So let's get this straight. You're living in an Airbnb
right now.
So that's not committal. Is there a reason why you're not committing to finding a location to live?
I'm going to Austin for a little bit. Yeah, I'm going to go there, get a year's lease, and try out Austin, Texas.
Not a bad move. It's a nice comedy scene.
Exactly. Yeah. But usually I'm just in the van. I'm not a douchiary or whatever.
Thanks, man. That's the new thing. My corporate thing would be the funny fiduciary, and do some gigs like that. But that's going to be exciting, dude, because like people are coming into Florida in droves, right? They're going to Texas in droves. And, people ask me, why am I moving to South Carolina? I'm like, well, because I'm not moving there for comedy per se. I'm moving because the wifey just wants to change things up.
Yeah.
And, now that I'm leaving Florida, more people are coming to Florida, which might not be bad either. You know what I mean? Like, I've been here.
You're like that. When you ever see the picture of the hurricane and everyone is trying to pile out in the highway and there's one car going the other way, some asshole ordered a fucking pizza and there's one car going the other way. That's you.
That's me. I'm looking for it. I mean, Carolinas aren't bad. If you got some work out there and stuff, right?
Yeah, they got some clubs too.
Yeah, but Austin, Texas got a lot of clubs.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. It seems like a lot of comedians are going there too, and I never wanted to commit to California or New York because I really don't like either place.
Yeah.
So maybe if this becomes the new California, I'll go to Austin because I like it there. But we'll see what happens.
That's a good move, dude. Yeah. That's a good move. I don't know if my wife would ever want to move to Texas because she's trying to get away from the heat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. My wife said she hates Florida because of the heat and because of the hurricanes. And I'm like, honey, the Miami Heat came in second last year, and the Hurricanes will come back.
Zing, that was good, though.
Yeah, thank you. I thought
Hurricanes are pretty good.
Yeah, they are. But in Austin, they still get them over there. But but at least you got some land. The problem where I live, you get a hurricane with 150-mile-an-hour winds barreling down on South Florida. You're going to get crushed. It's a matter of time before Florida just gets crushed. You know what I mean? Look at those poor people that got hit twice over there in Louisiana. I mean, remember that fucking town? They were fixing shit up, and here comes another one. Here comes another one.
I was up in the Panhandle when that happened.
Really? Yes.
Yeah, I was at the Block.
Oh yeah.
And it was like right in the aftermath. All the trees were everywhere. It was pretty fun.
Yeah, we were looking at there. My wife was told that a nice place to live in Florida was Destin, Florida, or Happy
Castle of the world. That's where the Block is, right over there, right?
Yeah, it was
it's over there by Destin,
Fort Walton, and that whole area, Pensacola, and stuff like that. But that area is getting hit a lot now. It seems like that's the storms are Listen, I'm not a pussy or anything. I'm not going to run from hurricanes, but there's something about every summer thinking that you have to worry about the hurricanes for a few months coming and crushing your house.
Yeah, especially if your house is a van.
Yeah, that's a little, The van, Chris, do you still have the van?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'll never get rid of it. That's my retirement plan.
Yeah.
That's where I've invested my stock. Yeah.
Plan.
Well, that's damn right.
Who else?
Be an old man in a van.
Why not? I mean, by the way, I just saw one of those really nice ones that they're building. They're like Mercedes. They're like they're taller vans, and they're like a little camper van. But it's like but it's there, and they're state of the art. They got all the equipment. They got a shower in it and shit.
Have you seen mine?
No, I haven't.
It's like that. It's not a Sprinter. It's a ProMaster, but it's all the stuff in there. It's
why not?
It's not what you, it's very nice.
Well, obviously,
all my money I've ever had went into it. So
really, now you're not married.
No.
You got a girlfriend?
He's not putting any women over the age of 18 in there.
or breathing.
That's funny. Well, that's nice then. I mean, shit, fuck. So, all right, so you're going to drive it there?
Yeah.
You're going to take it there, and you're going to park it somewhere for a while?
Yeah.
Right?
Look around, find a place, walk around. I've just got the best part is I had an electric bicycle.
Oh, yeah.
Like a really expensive one. Just got stolen out of Fort Myers.
Oh, well, fuck. Fort Myers.
For a stolen bike because it seems like you're whining. And he made it so much worse because he gets there. I'm like, my bike. And he's like, there was a shooting right there last night. Someone died right next to you. I'm like, yeah, but my bike. It was so funny. He didn't care at all.
Yeah, Fort Myers is a little bit of a. It's getting a little sketchy.
Yeah, there's areas.
Yeah, around there, Ostero where they carved Trump on that manatee, and you're like. Ugh.
They carved Trump on a manatee?
Yeah, they carved
a living manatee?
Yeah, the poor manatee was Trump was in the back of the fucking manatee. And I'm like, what, I mean, there's some people that, these are big old loving beasts, these manatees, you know what I mean? They're like 5,000-pound puppies, and you're going to carve Trump into the back of the
who's to say the manatee is not a starch Republican?
Yeah, he may be.
He may be keeping all the other manatees out of the bay. He's like, get out of here.
Yeah, he's like, we're going to build a wall here between this canal.
We're going to make it out of shells and coconut.
Yeah, and we're going to have the dolphins pay for it.
Yeah, the dolphins are going to pay for
it. Speaking of paying for it, the billionaires, none of us are, but the billionaires are claiming that the youth are using their stimulus checks to buy all those stocks on through Reddit and through the Robinhood. You know anybody in the 1%? You guys are familiar with anybody who's considered an elite?
No. You know what? Here's what I know about billionaires. They don't know anything about real life to make that statement. If they think somebody could actually run wild for a week on $600, they're out of their mind. $600 to a billionaire is like wampum and shells. They don't have any idea what it's about. It's like, I remember when I was a kid, it was only $600 to move a dead hooker's body out of my parents' summer home.
How much is the most amount of money you've ever had in your possession, John?
$74,000
Yeah.
in my hand.
Nice chunk of
In my
change.
hand, not like in my hand, $74,000. And what happened was, I moved a dead hooker's body from somebody's summer home.
That's pretty
No,
costly.
I just sold my house a long time ago, and I got cut a cashier's check for $74,000.
Yeah, that's kind of exciting when you sell a house and you got that check in your hand. You're thinking, well, I can either go buy another house or I can go get a van.
Yeah, that's what I did.
You know what I'm saying?
For $74,000, you can get 3 vans.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised.
Those things are pretty expensive, man. The one my
That's
friend.
the most money I ever held in my hand in my life. I spent it on the van because I have, I think, maybe a 218 credit score.
Well, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this then. How did you?
Is that European? That's good if it's European.
Yeah, it's metric system credit score.
Right.
Yeah, it's the Prague. That's a good credit score in Prague.
Right.
Yeah. So all right. So somebody doesn't have credit to be able to acquire that much money. How would you say you did it?
I just saved a little bit of every paycheck.
Yeah.
A little bit of every paycheck, and then I sold all the cool stuff that I owned.
What were some of the things? Like, I think back, like when I started selling stuff, when I moved out of my house, I sold a bunch of my guitars because I used to play guitar and stuff. So I had an Ibanez Destroyer too. I sold it. I had a Gibson ES335. I had a Gibson SG. I had a Les Paul. Yeah, I sold. I ended up getting like maybe 15,000. I ended up getting after selling all these guitars. But then,
if you get a real SG, that's some serious money. Not one of those BS ones. The real, the real SG
with the real ivory tuners. Not the plastic ones.
The one that Angus Young has and Waddy Wachell, those guys, serious players. They have those, it's a 59 SG, and it's like you can't find them, man.
What did you sell? What are some of the cool stuff you had to get rid of, Chris?
I sold basically my whole ukulele collection. No, I sold all furniture, TVs. I had the nicest Mac at the time, like the desktop computer that has like a theater-sized screen. Those hold value well. I don't know why people buy gold. Just buy anything Apple. This iPhone 6 is still worth like $13,000 right now.
Isn't that crazy?
It's so weird. People are dumb.
That's nuts, dude. I think you're right. I'm thinking my wife had me clearing out the closet, you're getting in, thinning things out for the move before we get, and I have all these old baseball jerseys that I used to wear on stage. But they're older, so the people's numbers on the back aren't even playing anymore, half of them. That's how old they are. And I thought to myself, my friend says, "Oh, you should sell them on eBay. You could probably get $30 a piece for them, because they're like real jerseys. They're not, And I'm like, I don't want to get on eBay now. I don't want to fucking, I rather just give the clothes away in the church and they get happy and they you know what I mean? And imagine a kid, oh my God, it's a Mets shirt. I mean, Reyes is on the back, but holy shit,
Who's Nomar Garcia Parra?
What's the one thing you would never get rid of?
What's that?
What's the one thing you would never get rid of?
Oh. Well, I don't know if there's anything I wouldn't get rid of that I own right now. I would get rid of everything.
Maybe my hair.
Yeah. Well, sorry, John, but.
Well, you know what? If you're gonna get rid of your hair, let's talk after the show because I know a buyer.
It'd be great if our producer could switch your guys' hair right now. That'd be a funny picture.
I'm sure if we did this meeting on a Snapchat, we'd be able to do whatever. We could turn them into anything you want.
If he did that, it would look like some CGI Michael Chiklis thing.
Fucking, I don't.
It's like some Fantastic Four spinoff.
So let's get back to this, Chris, real quick. So you gather up all this money. And you said, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to buy one of these vans. Is that what your plan was?
Yeah.
And
always been my plan forever.
And how long did it take to accumulate all that money?
Probably 5 years.
All right, not bad. And then you went and how did it feel when you took all those time, all that shit you used to have now is in an account, and you're going to write a check for the van? Was it comfortable? Was it nerve wracking? Did you said, what the fuck am I doing? Or were you gung ho?
I was gung ho.
Yeah.
I don't care about money too much. I think to just live in a van, you kind of can't care too much about money. Yeah. I'm very Karawakian.
Yeah, Dan Ellison, right? Dan Ellison, who's at the World Series of Comedy, has a van. I don't think it's as nice as yours, but he's
is that Dan?
Dan with the van. But he does the same thing. He goes, I got gigs, and he's a mechanic. He knows the thing breaks down, he can fix it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's got to be helpful. But that's exciting, dude. My wife and I always talked about that, like getting a camper. Like
mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a cool idea.
Then you get a camper and you put a little MG midget on the back. Some little, you tow another car around. And you travel around like you're a nomad. You know what I mean? You just go around to different. You go where it's sunny. You go where the weather's nice, right? I mean, as you think about it, because when we were going to move, I've lived in Florida since I'm 5 years old. So somebody says, why are you leaving Florida? I go, because I'm fucking sick of it. I've been here, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
It's the ultimate COVID tool.
I've been in Florida for fucking my entire life. I'm full.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Now, of course, you never know. I may move the Carolinas to be after a year go, what the fuck, I got to get out of here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think for comedy, it's going to be good because I'm not going to have to travel 8 hours to get out of a state. I'll be able to drive around.
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff down your way, but if you want to get anywhere, you're literally, it's like, boom, It's like, that's the one problem with, like, okay, if you move to LA and you do road work, you better be headlining. Yeah. All right? You are not close to shit. All right? Maybe Vegas. San Diego isn't that easy, but it's like, okay, I'm going to go Des Moines, Iowa this week. And if you're not flying, that's 2-3 days in a car.
Mm-hmm.
So, that there's something to that where you could still go South Florida, but now you're a little closer Midwest, Northeast, and
you guys,
a little west.
You guys think LA's done? You think California's done?
No. That's where they shoot the movies and the television shows, and that's where the people that make decisions live. So, no, it's not done until they leave.
Well, I think they're leaving. I think they're starting to fucking leave.
I don't think that elitist mentality will ever do. Not elitist, but I don't know. Yeah. Just smugness to the place.
Like New York is tough. A lot of clubs are starting to close. They're not going to reopen. Yeah. It's like, in New York. I mean, you look again, not political, but Cuomo's an idiot, and Blasio's even worse. And then Gavin, that guy's, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. You know what I mean?
New York City's a weird place to do stand-up. It's the worst place to start.
Yeah.
All right? It's like, okay, let's say either one of you guys want to go down to the local club. I want to do a few minutes. There isn't any of that here. All right. There's a 3:30 open mic that you have to pay $5 to get into. And it's like, and then there's nobody watching because everyone's on their phones, or they leave the minute they're done.
Yeah.
It's like, are you trying to get into the clubs? And it's just, and it's hard to do that. And it's just not conducive. There's stuff around. You could produce your own shows. I do that a lot. But it's like, oh, I'm moving to New York. Well, I hope you know somebody, man, because I can't help you. I'm not part of the in crowd. And
I'll say this, it gives you thick skin, though. I think New York comedians, every time I meet them, are a little bit more comfortable when they're up on the stage than others, just because they've just been through everything.
Around here, I can work all around, I mean, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Jersey, Pennsylvania. I get there's, and everything's within 2-3 hours, so that's a nice feature right there. I mean, like moving to Texas. If you going to Austin, okay, Houston's not far. Dallas isn't far, and even Oklahoma City's not that far, things like that. So, you're around people, creative people. See, New York, it's like, oh, there's creative people. No, they literally, everybody wants to go first and run out of the club as fast as they can. like they have a meeting with Spielberg in 15 minutes.
Right.
It's Monday night, and where are you going?
Well,
But that's LA, a whole different mentality. Comedy Store, people hang out. Improv, people hang out. Some of the other shows, people hang out. Nobody hangs out at the Laugh Factory. There's no place to hang out. But in LA, people hang out because you don't know who's there, and you see people. Like, every time I go to LA, I run into somebody that I know that doesn't live in LA. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm out here. You're doing this thing, and so it's a different mentality.
Yeah, the hang part's good. One of the things about Florida's been building is that we got a lot more rooms. There are not a lot of clubs, but we have a lot more rooms. You can literally in Florida now, and everything's open. You have an open mic on Monday. You have one on Sunday. You have one on Wednesday.
Up every night if you plan it. Yeah,
you can get up in due time and all kinds, and you hang. I mean, you for the most part, people are kind of like it's a bit of a camaraderie in a sense.
You can work here. It's hard for me to leave here because you can book every weekend at something and get paid.
Yeah.
Right, and you don't have to travel, and that's why a lot of guys move. They were what I call the old guard, from Chicago and Cleveland and Buffalo and St. Louis. They're like, okay, I'm moving to Florida. I'm moving to Tampa, and I'm gonna do all the weekend stuff every week. And there's enough to go around.
Yeah, it's kind of heartbreaking to leave, but that's why I think for all tax purposes, I'm going to be keeping residency here, and I still have my office down here.
There's a certified financial planner talking.
Yeah, can I tell you? But yeah, we're going to be renting my mother's house, my mother-in-law's house, I should say, and I got an office here, so I'm going to come back a few times a year to see my clients. Speaking of comics, rest in peace, Mr. Dustin Diamond, who passed away at the age of 44. We lost Screech today.
Might be my fault.
Might be you gave him cancer?
No, I gave him his first cigarette. No, I was just talking about. We were talking about him on. I forget where it was, but we were talking about him. We were watching it was a podcast, one of my friend's podcasts. Let me just plug that real quick. And we were watching his porn. We were talking about how he's sick. Like, not sick, but like he was actually sick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we watched his porn for like an hour and a half. It was the whole podcast. It was great.
Well,
then he died a week later.
Oh, so
gargle hand sanitizer now.
So you guys, that's not bad content. I was sitting here trying to think of topics for today's show, and I thought, well, I could have just played a porn. I could have just had us,
Exactly.
I could have just had us like critique a porn. You know what I mean? When's the last time you watched porn, John?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably the last time I watched Dustin Diamond.
Yeah.
I hooked up with a buddy of mine because what was he, 44?
Yeah, young guy.
Your buddy?
I hooked up with a buddy of mine that I hadn't seen since I lived in Chicago. And he's like, shit, I thought you'd be dead by now. And I'm like, a lot of people lost money when I turned 40. I was one of them. And the reason I think I made it past 40 is because I don't have any Dustin Diamond stories.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
the last time I watched porn was a couple days ago. My iPad, greatest invention known to man. You mentioned Apple. You gotta love it.
You must not have a VR headset.
No.
Well.
Really? You got the virtual reality? You got the...
That's real porn. No, I don't. But Nathan has a virtual reality headset, and I went to his house and I tried it for the first time. And he showed me, he set it up for me, and then he just kind of let me do my thing. And the porn was amazing. It was so good.
So you're watching this. So you're watching this like Oculus kind of thing, right? You got this.
Yeah.
And then you feel like you're there.
Yeah, we didn't really watch porn, but it is amazing. That's actually where the only stock I've ever bought is on Robinhood, and it's virtual reality stock. Because I think that's going to blow up. Not like GameStop. I should have seen that one coming.
No, that's people are talking about it that they're bad mouthing the company, but ultimately when they stop letting people sell the stock or buy it or whatever, and I'm like, well, that's what happens. They're self-clearing. there's a certain amount of money you have to hold because there's a float. If you buy something online, I'm going to buy 1,000 shares of something, there's a 3-day settlement. So in between that, money has to transfer. So when people are losing shitloads of money, there's people that are down shitload, and you don't know if they're going to be able to come up with it, you're going to collect it because they just traded it. So you got 3 days and you're hoping. So they had to make sure they had the money to cover it should anything go wrong. And everybody's like, they're just trying to screw the little guy.
Listen, I don't know what financial channel you watch. I don't know if you watch Fox Business or Bloomberg or CNBC, but I mean, which one do you watch?
I like the guy with the horns and stuff.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's on Pornhub, I think.
CNBC.
Yeah.
I'm a CNBC guy in the morning.
Yeah, I like the CNBC too. But the problem is, all of these shows, it's like overnight talk radio. They just jam the same nonsense over and over and over. It's like that Saturday Night Live skit with Chris Farley, and it's like Ditka, GameStop, Ditka, Apple, Ditka, Tesla, Ditka. What's the number one? What's the highest percentage stock that's on the market that nobody knows? You don't talk about it. It's like watching ESPN and it's Tim Tebow every 5 seconds.
Well,
all right, that's why it's such a big thing because they just don't shut up about it.
Well, here's one thing. You just tripped me into my last topic before we get into the news, but every time I look through like Yahoo News or online news, because I try to search for stories that are interesting to talk on the show, and every fucking day there's a story about Chrissy Teigen. Now, Chrissy Teigen, who's married to John Legend, the songwriter, and and
when you send me the stuff for the show, I'm like, I'm not looking this up. I don't want that in my algorithm. I don't want it.
Well, I every time she used to be a model. She actually was on that comedy show that was on NBC. Look Who's Laughing or something was out last year, which was I thought it was kind of horrible.
Yeah.
But
did you see the look on both of our faces? We're stand-up comics. We're like, never heard of it.
Yeah, dude.
What? It was a comedy show?
It was like a comedy contest. Who the redneck guy? Jeff Foxworthy was a judge. The guy who I love on Saturday Night Live, the black guy, the chubby guy.
Oh, I remember that. There wasn't one name that I recognized.
Kenan Thompson.
I love that kid. I think he's so funny.
I mean, the contestants, not one name that I recognize.
Well, we had a local guy who lives in L.A. now from Florida. Orlando Leyba was on it. He actually made it through. Al Siddiqui was in it. The guy who plays guitar. This guy, you always look at these shows. We have all these like festivals and everything, and then you see these other contests come out. Like, how do these people get on there? You know what I mean? It's all agent. You got an agent yet, Chris?
No, after San Francisco, I had offers, but I didn't know what I was talking about, so I just kind of like let that entire thing just float by. They were like, "You should take advantage of this." I'm like, "Yeah, I should also ask."
To represent you. Yeah, can you get me some vape?
Yeah. No, if they got me some vape, I'd be in the app. That's what my manager used to. I just let it all float by, and then whatever. I should probably be more on top of my stuff, but I should also have social media. At every club I go to is like, what's your Instagram? I'm like, I don't have that.
Yeah, I was gonna say I tried to pull you up on Twitter and I couldn't find you.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nothing. I got Facebook. I'm like my mom and my grandma. We just got Facebook. All I'm doing all day is just taking pictures of Polaroids and posting them.
This guy's like a cold case on the ID channel, man. He's vapor. All right. How do you get it? Yeah, we lost track of him. There's no swabs of this guy anywhere. All right. He you know what? As soon as he's done with whatever's in that can, it's bleached.
Well, dude, yeah, you got to get, because that's the thing, you got all the shit going on, and then you're like, a chance to find an agent, somebody's going to represent you and get your work. I talked to Miles. Miles was on the show last week, Miles Weber, and I met him at NoHo Comedy Festival a year or so ago, and he was telling me that when he won it, the Seattle
San Francisco, he won the year after.
San Francisco one. He's like,
He's really funny.
Yeah,
he's really funny.
He's a funny dude. And they automatically put him on this. They had him working like a maniac. You know, he had to go and do all the cruises, and these agents put him in, just put him a list of shit. You know, he's like, wow, fucking. But who doesn't like to work? I mean, as a comic, if I look at my calendar and there's a few months empty, I start getting depressed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you know what I mean? What are you going to do? With that said, have you guys ever had that? Have you ever? This is kind of a stupid question, but have you ever thought about quitting?
No.
No.
And do what? Seriously, it's like, I was retired for 6 months, not my own choice. COVID did that to me. I didn't like it at all. All right, I'm not. This is my dad asked me that one time. He's like, "You ever think about retiring?" I'm like, "And do what? And do what? I lose my mind."
Yeah.
I'm talking to a buddy of mine that used to own a club. And I'm still friends with him, and he's a little older. He did well, but I'm thinking about doing a podcast because he's losing his mind.
Yeah.
There's no stimulus, man. Listen, it doesn't pay the greatest. Sometimes it pays really well, but that juice. I don't care if you're living in a van or if you're moving to South Carolina or wherever you do, that juice when it's clicking. It can't be replaced by anything you've ever experienced before in your life.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you could try to tell people about it, and you're like, oh, yeah, I did improv once. I was in an improv troupe. Yeah, great. Not the same.
Yeah.
When you have 3,000 people cheering at something that you thought of, and they're in sync with you, there is nothing like it. It's like being in a band. All right, and you're playing, and everyone's mouthing the words to your song. So retiring.
Yeah. Well, it's
really, like, wow, I think I'm still funny, and then you got to start over again, man. It's fucking hard to keep it going. Try starting over again.
Yeah, it's really difficult. It's almost like the stripper issue. Like strippers, they'll be a stripper like when they're 19 or 20, and then they're strippers until they're 35, 40. And then,
Gross.
and then what are they going to do now? Like, what are you going to do? You're going to go get a job interview and say, how'd you spend the last 20 years of your life? Well, you know what I mean?
I have good interpersonal skills.
Yeah, right.
I'm pretty.
I was a cash management specialist.
Yeah, I was
the similarity between strippers and comedians is the inability to make good decisions. All right, and that's why we're in this game.
That's right.
There's nothing in my mind that I could do that can replace that. No. You always go, hey man, that show stinked, or and it's like you're gonna stand ovation. That guy didn't stand. All right, you're always locked in on how one thing, but when it clicks, once every 2 or 3 months, you get that magical show where everything's right. You just can't stop thinking about it. And it's like that cool crush you'll never get out of your mind.
And it's also too when you're doing your own thing, as opposed to going to work for anybody else. Like I pretty much since I started really working, I always had a job as a producer. Meaning I had to go and get like a sales rep or something. I didn't get paid unless I did shit. I had to earn my keep. It wasn't like I sat around and got an hourly paycheck. It's like I have never understood what that's like. And it's like there was a period there once where I was going to walk away from this, and meaning my financial planning stuff, and I'm like, there's no way in hell I can't sit there and have somebody tell me what to do. When I
That's
could
my
go.
biggest problem.
What's that?
That's my biggest problem. When you get
it's not a problem.
someone telling you what to do.
No, that's why we're in this. It's because nobody, like, if let's say we all worked at some office, right? And we all have a project that we're working on. Then we have to show it to somebody, and they're going to go, all right, well, this needs this, and this needs this, and this needs this. Which, honestly, that's what the entertainment industry is. Once you get, and I'm sure Miles is dealing with this because he's blowing up, but everybody wants to put their input on it.
Right.
So but when you're writing jokes and you're telling jokes and you get them right, there's nobody over your shoulder going, that's funny, but you should do it in a Korean accent. Why? Why?
Hey,
it makes no sense. Nobody's telling you The crowd is telling you
Right.
what's funny or not.
Your feedback.
That's the reaction. You get the ultimate highest form of feedback. Is it funny? Yes or no. Not what do you think? Not what you think. Yeah, that's funny. I love that.
So, John, you never had an open micer come to you after an open mic show and go, you want to try these tags? You know what I'm saying? That's the kind of shit that happens in Florida, bud.
That's how I feel at any job.
Coming to me after shows. No, I have people come up and do that, and every once in a while, somebody has a very good idea, or I'll share an idea as well. But it's a tag. It's not
right.
A total okay, change this whole idea of the joke around.
Yeah.
Like instead of you being at the doctor, why can't it be Wilford Brimley?
Yeah.
And you're like, what the fuck are you talking about?
You're sitting down having a bowl of Quaker Oats. Something like that. Well, guys, it's that time of the show. It's time for the news. This is a joke. That's right. This is where we, the comedians, make fun of the news. Unlike the news that John's watching, where it's all dicka.
You talking about the football coach?
Yeah, you know that old skit on Saturday Night Live? The Chicago Bears fans?
Oh, yeah. The Bears.
The Bears.
Okay. I thought it was a stock.
Yeah.
Dick is up 5 points. Somebody shorted Dicka.
No wonder he won the contest. Well, here's a guy who's not doing his job very well. Former marriage and family therapist sentenced to 4 years for sexually abusing 7 of his patients. Is there a way as comics we could take advantage of something like that?
Well, that's why you get into that, for the chicks, isn't it?
It's like isn't
role playing a very important part of therapy?
Yeah. Act like I'm your husband and come over here and take my pants off.
Right. See, that's you got to just let it wash over you. Let it wash over.
Have you ever been to a counselor or like marriage counselor or just any type of shrink? Any type of person like that? No.
No, I probably should.
Yeah.
I need a counselor and a Twitter.
And a Twitter account.
Yeah.
He's got
on my list.
He's got his wish list. My wife and I, before we were married, went to a counselor once before because we're having.
Before you were married.
Yeah, that was a good sign.
That should have told you something right there.
Well, it actually did. We were pretty smart because we knocked shit out, and it was actually good because the counselor kind of like confirmed most of my fucking.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I was like,
you get into it for the chicks.
What's that?
You get into it for the chicks. It's. I'm telling you.
Former therapist, 66-year-old, is being ordered to register as a sex offender, which can't be fun, for the rest of his life. 7 patients were abused by Villamarin from the 2014 to 2018, according to the news. Yeah, the guy's taking advantage of his situation. If you want to make your husband happy, what you need to do is take your shirt off in front of him. Try it with me.
I feel like nobody loves me. I love
Yeah. My husband never tells me how pretty I am. I think you're beautiful.
You're even pretty from behind. Let me show you.
Yeah. Creepy fuck. That there you are. You're trying to make things work with your wife, and you find out she's banging the fucking therapist.
That's why you always took your side.
That's right. But she did, though, man. That was the moment. That was the moment where it cracked. I think it cracked my wife because she realized.
Hold on. I didn't read the story. I just read the synopsis. Who was he? It's a he, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's sexual assault.
Because, if let's say, let's use it for example. You're married, right?
Right.
And somebody's banging your wife. You're going over there with a pipe wrench.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. I know you.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd have a pipe wrench.
And I'm driving you over there.
I'm gonna have a gun with a silencer, and
no, it's like we're just taking him to court. I think there's something else going on here.
No, the foreign marriage therapist.
No, different kind of hey happening.
Villamar's license was still valid, yada, yada, yada. But it says here he was first arrested back in 2018 after a woman reported she was sexually assaulted during an appointment, according to the police. And, yeah, so, yeah, listen, sometimes the women are vulnerable, you know what I mean? It's the... what happened?
What's that?
Chris went to go hire a therapist.
No, where's the therapist?
He's on the couch.
No, the therapist. Where is the therapist?
Where?
The story you were just reading. Where is it from?
Oh, Los Angeles. You have it?
Okay.
Yep.
That's what you do. It's like I'll sue you, or you put me in the movie.
You may be. You ever watch casting couch porn? That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah,
I love the concept. It's very. What's that word? I'm not a fiduciary. I can't think of the word. It's when you start your own business.
Entrepreneurial.
It's very entrepreneurial. I don't know.
That's the way you get it. If you're lonely, you haven't gotten laid in a while, what you do is you put an ad out in the paper, say, I'm looking for porn stars. Yeah. You know, and they come in and you set up the desk in the room and say, okay, well, it's time to audition. And then, you know.
It's smart business, all right? Because these girls actually now have movie credits, but you don't have to pay them.
Yes.
Yeah. Every time I've ever tried it, the girl gets there. I'm like, hey, listen, this is the job. We should do a little video real quick. She's like, I am overqualified for this.
It's a porn internship is what it is.
Yes. I think I'm going to go.
I'm overqualified.
I think I'm going to go.
I'm writing that down. That's funny.
Yeah. I think I'm going to go. To put an application in at Denny's. Speaking of entertainers, magicians mark 100 years of sawing people in half. You know that old trick where they put them in a box and they cut them in half and then they spin them around, they split them apart, and they got the hands sticking out. It's been
my therapist did that to me once.
Yeah, and then he banged you.
Yeah, he did.
And then he showed me his dick. That's interesting. That's an art that we don't like. Magicians, like, you know what I mean? I used to have a joke, like I had a magician open for me once. All he did was make the crowd disappear. And, but there's some funny shit. The magician comic, there was the sleight of hand, though. The one guy who was on America's Got Talent, that Asian guy, he was fucking amazing. I don't know if you watched that.
Table magic is unbelievable.
Yeah, that guy is.
That is a skill that you're 6 inches away, you can't figure it out.
Yeah.
All right. And there's some really great. I've worked over the years with some really great comic magicians. Paul Kozak, one of the best I've ever seen, if not the best I've ever seen. Matt King, who has his own show in Vegas, an excellent illusionist. All right. But this story, when you sent it to me, I'm like, this got no play in my mind. Yeah. And I think, ironically, if they would have, the story would have got more attention if they cut the headline by 50% to just saying sawing people in half.
Yeah.
I just think it's weird that they can continue to do something that everyone knows how it's done, Everyone knows you just take the bottom half of like a corpse, you put it in the bottom box, and then she folds her legs there, and then you're just using, old legs.
Right.
They're hoping to be there on the one time it doesn't work.
Yeah, that would be fun.
All right, so I can sell the video to the local news.
It's like NASCAR. They're just waiting for the crash.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Our next story, South Korean firm's smart dog collar tells owners what the bark's about. I don't know if you guys have dogs. I have a dog, and what they're saying is that...
listen to the dog?
Well, it's interesting. If the dog barks, it's nice if he says, if he goes, ruff, ruff. It's like he's basically saying, I got to take a fucking piss. That'd be kind of funny.
Their tagline should be, you can finally understand what your bitch is yelling about.
I finally understand my bitch now.
Well, the whole thing with this is, okay, this collar, you can hear the dog talk, okay? So essentially the dog now has a podcast. And this is the most brilliant way to promote a podcast I have ever heard.
Yeah, I might have to have him as a guest next week. I'm gonna get this collar and put it on my dog, and he's gonna. The minute
I bet you we'd have a full fucking crowd.
the minute I put it on the dog, he's gonna go, stop grabbing the peanut butter.
Wake up late with Dougie.
Dougie, change the name.
I'm gonna sue you.
You stole my name. Yeah, it gives the dogs a voice. You're right. They can get their own fucking podcast now.
That's it. That's what this thing is. It's a podcast.
There you go. Next story, why wombats poop cubes. Did you guys know that? Do you guys know what a wombat is?
I don't want to know that.
No?
All right. I refuse to even write anything about that because I don't want to replace somebody's phone number in my brain with this information.
Well, I don't know where you're going there, but a wombat is kind of like a cute, it's kind of like a little, I don't know, it's a weird looking thing. It's like it's Australian, so that tells you right there that's why you don't see many of them. But they're like a big fluffy rat, right? They're like a big,
Australia's animals are like all backwards, man. It's crazy. Like kangaroos have like 14 vaginas. It's
really
weird. Yeah.
You know that.
I mean, I've been inside a kangaroo or two. You put it in one, it comes out the other one. It's like
that means you tried to fuck a kangaroo at least 13 times.
13 times, yeah.
Is that the right one? Is that the right one? That's interesting, dude. I mean, could you imagine if
on hole? It's like, well, what the hell do you want from me, man?
Yeah.
All right. Can we put a dog collar on the kangaroo's pussy?
That's
Let's hear what they have to say. It'd be like magical night.
That's just like that old game show, Deal or No Deal. Like, you get. I'm gonna stick my dick in this vagina. Nope, no deal. It's not that one. Let's move it.
Hold on.
That's a zonk. That's a zonk.
The wombat though, actually, when it poops in little squares. Like, I don't know about your guys' poop. Sometimes you get older. It changes a little bit. I've been happy.
Storage. It's all about storage.
Yeah, you're right, because that's what happens. Basically, the wombat has an elastic colon.
Wombat lives in what would be equivalent of a 500 square foot apartment.
Yeah.
Okay. So you got to keep it stacked up.
Well, that's funny because based on your philosophy, then when Cris is living in his van, he should be shitting squares as well.
I don't know why he's not. He's wasting his time with kangaroo pussy.
Mine's been liquid since I was 12. It's not a problem. I throw it out the window.
Oh, no. You're not what I'm trying to drink. I almost smelled tequila.
Dude, I
almost snarfed that.
That was funny. I'm actually happy. I changed my diet. I got like nice, nice logs coming out. Before I had a bunch of like old crab or like clam strips.
What do you got to eat to poop square?
I don't know. Klondike bar.
You just eat Klondike bars whole. That's what wombats are doing.
What would you do for a Klondike bar? I'll shit a brick.
Shit an actual brick. A Lego or whatever.
Exactly. I'm fucking eating Legos.
He's built a little wombat igloo. Nobody's going to home invasion that place.
Now they found out how they actually build the Great Wall in China. They had a bunch of pet wombats and shitting bricks.
That's a wonder.
There you go. By the way, I don't know if you guys know this. I don't know if you guys ever eat at Subway, but there's a lot of controversy now that Subway is not using real tuna.
No way.
Yeah. Would you ever eat at Subway?
I try to avoid it because the second you walk in there, you smell like the place for a week.
Isn't that right? Yeah.
It's so weird, man. That place is weird. Their flatbread is made of human hair. There's like a lot of shit going on at Subway.
Yeah.
I just want to get this straight in my mind. I pull off Interstate 70 in Nebraska, and I get some gas, and there's a Subway sandwich shop there. And you're telling me it's not fucking tuna?
No, it's wombat shit.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
Tuna cubes.
It's mini cubes.
I think here's my take on this. They're attacking this from the wrong direction.
Mm.
The people are coming after Subway. Subway should be coming after them. They should know better, okay? It's your fault, not Subway's fault. Detectives should be sweating these people down. What do you mean it isn't tuna? It looked as old as tuna. I don't know. It was dark, and the sandwich had a lot of condiments on.
Yeah, that's what they do. They hide all the other shit, right? Yeah, you sure you don't want to put some green peppers on there? Why? It's not real tuna.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, that's what Subway does. They load it with vegetables, which probably aren't real vegetables. The Impossible tomato.
No, the vegetables are actually made out of tuna. That's the funniest part about it.
Yeah, it's all tuna tomatoes.
Beyond meat.
Nobody orders peppers and tuna. So they're like, all right, we got them beat on this deal.
That's funny. I don't, we finally have Wawas down here now, which if you want a sandwich, just go to Wawas.
Or Publix.
Or Publix, yeah.
No, Wawa, and listen, living up here, like Philly, they're nuts with their Wawa. They're nuts. It's like Chick-fil-A. People are like, no, Wawa. We got to go to Wawa. They're nuts, aren't they?
I love it. I love it. It's very convenient. You go up, you point, you don't have to talk to anybody.
No, and that's why Wawa is popular, because they're open 24 hours, and you can get as drunk as a monkey, right? And you get an Uber, and wow, and you're there,
and you find it.
Wow.
Where you want to go?
Wow. The cab could be driven by a guy who just moved from Venus 3 minutes ago, and he knows what you're talking about.
Absolutely. I love it. I love Wawa. Next story, Schoolboy changes his name to Reconnecting. These kids are doing the Zoom.
I'm going to let I Just Came handle this one.
I don't know. I don't know who named me Just Came, but...
it's probably been on there for a while. But, so this kid's in school. So I have all these kids there. And instead of putting his name, he puts Reconnecting where his name is. So the teacher looks at it, who you would think is a bright person and not easily fooled. But, Jimmy's still connecting. I won't bug him right now.
I wonder what they did when Just came to class.
Oh, the janitor.
I got a boner. You know what I mean?
He's a smart kid.
He is a smart kid.
Kid. People always say to me, they always ask me what I think about certain comedians, right? And one I get all the time is, what do you think about Larry the Cable Guy? Everybody hates Larry the Cable Guy. All right? Sure. Who actually is the nicest guy in the world. But he said, what do you think about Larry the Cable Guy? You know what? Larry the Cable Guy, his name is on a bag of potato chips. And he's doing commercials and movies. He figured out something that I didn't figure out. All right, that's what I think of Larry the Cable Guy. And this kid figured out something that nobody else figured out.
Yeah.
And that's the key. This kid should never have to go to class for the rest of the year. All right, he should get straight A's like his roommate died.
He should just listen to Joey Behar from The View when she said everybody should just start over another year next year. That's how she solves the education problem that blows.
Wouldn't he have to not move? If it's reconnecting, you just have to. That seems like it's more effort than listening. Yeah.
Like that.
We lost Dougie. He's reconnecting.
It's very easy. You do a still camera shoot, but it's like you're doing this.
Yeah, for an hour of class.
But he does a still shot, and he's just listening just in case there's some shit he needs to know. But it's reconnecting. He'll come on every once in a while, maybe change it, but. Now that's a smart kid.
The story is calling him a bona fide genius. One user said, "My son had a video of himself playing on a loop, studying intensely, set up on an iPad. So this kid recorded himself and he just put it on there. These kids, listen, this fucking pandemic. These kids are either if Darwin's laughing right now." Because right now, that is natural selection. The ones who are truly going to be successful will do it regardless of the influences.
This guy evolved.
Yeah.
Right? And you better hope that this story doesn't make national news because people are going to steal this. Oh, this will be on every Zoom meeting for the next 3 weeks.
Yeah. And then kids will have to go to school again. And then what will happen to the world will be crazy.
I need to change my name here.
We would have the same look. Just Came and Reconnecting is basically the same exact freeze frame, just like.
We got a couple stories left. Rod Stewart. Some guys have all the luck. If you think I'm sexy and you want my body, come on, baby, tell me so. That Rod Stewart reaches plea deal after allegedly punching a Palm Beach hotel guard. Now, Rod Stewart's not the kind of guy you think's going to be throwing blows. You think he's blowing people, but you don't think he's throwing blows.
Well, let me just say this first couple things. Rod Stewart is a guy I expect punching people. He could have been a professional soccer player. Also, Rod Stewart is one of the greatest singers in the history of recorded music.
Great voice.
Amazing voice. And the stuff he did with on his own and the Jeff Beck group and Faces, about for 3-4 years, those albums are some of the greatest albums ever recorded. All right, I would love to talk to Rod Stewart. He's probably got more stories than I would ever have the energy to listen to, but they'd be great. He looks like a great guy. But the amazing news is this is the first time I've heard Rod Stewart's name in the news without having it being followed by having his stomach pumped.
Yeah. The old folklore, right, about how he had
original. Then it went to Richard Gere.
Yeah. That was Richard Gere had the gerbil up his ass.
Well, they switched it.
Did they?
Yeah, they okay. We got to recycle this a little bit more.
You remember?
I hope they
You're
didn't.
that good looking. People hate you.
I hope they didn't pump Richard Gere's stomach, because then just go the other way. Otherwise, the gerbil's just coming all the way through everything. That's the wrong direction.
Yeah, you don't want to bring that up. Rock legend Rod Stewart and his son have reached a deal with South Florida prosecutors over misdemeanor battery charges, stemming from a New Year's Eve on 2020, just recently, confrontation at the Breakers, which I've been at. But I never had a problem with the guard.
Or Rod Stewart. Matter. Like we said, some guys have all the luck. In our last story, a Czech woman performs oral sex to stop a robbery.
Hero.
Listen, don't stop it. What do you get on the ground? I'll get on the ground. Hold on, Bill. I'll be with you in a minute.
I have some bad news for you.
Yeah.
That's going to be the world's longest robbery.
It depends if he's on medication.
All right, I'm robbing this place. Okay, now I'm robbing this place. Hold on, now I'm robbing this place. God, get away!
It's not a robbery. It's a bukkake.
That's 500. That is.
24-year-old Serbian robbed a gas station in Bratislava. A 36-year-old Czech woman offered him a blowjob to distract him until the police arrived.
Offered.
What's the Czech woman's name? Does she have a Facebook?
Yeah, maybe you ought to rethink your move.
Yeah.
Well, she worked at a gasoline station.
Honey, what do you think about Serbia?
Yeah, I hear they got very friendly gas station.
Let's buy 9 handguns and move to Serbia.
Now, how many people are going to be inspired to rob something now, right? Like they're going to think, "Oh my God, I haven't gotten laid in a while. I should go rob a gas station." Go fucking get a smoke.
Was it in the Czech Republic or was it in here?
Yeah, no, it was in Czech Republic.
Oh, okay. Well, that's just common practice.
Hold on. Was this a news story or was this casting couch porn?
No, this is news. It says here she offered him a blowjob that got him stuck in the place until the police arrived. The incident occurred in Bratislava, Slovakia, around 4 a.m.
Wow.
According to
I'm sorry. This just sounds like 21st century porn to me. It's like, okay, we can't use the pizza guy anymore. How about a guy robs a gas station?
Well, I mean, think about this. I think, now and everything, right? The guy, you about to get carjacked. Some guy jumps your car. Hey, listen, before you take my car, let me just suck your dick. Let me just.
That's how I get into Canada with weed.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I hope you're driving.
Yeah. Depends on who's robbing the vehicle, I guess. You never know. But hey, it's ingenuity, right?
Yeah, she's smarter than the Reconnecting guy.
Who is smarter? That's the real question. Who is smarter? I mean, at least the Reconnecting guy didn't wake up with a herpes thing on his, who knows? I mean, think about the risk that she's taking. I mean, this isn't a guy. This is a criminal. She does, if this guy doesn't care about the law, you don't think he's not going to care about banging somebody without a condom? I mean, this woman's got guts. This woman cares about that gas station.
Serbian. Their food tastes worse.
I've never been there.
Now the Serbian mob's after me.
Yeah. Find that guy in that fucking podcast.
Kill him now.
Anyway, guys, that's all we have time for here on the Wake Up Late with Dougie show. I want to thank John McClellan for joining us here today. Cris Machado, who's going to be leaving us for Austin, Texas. When do you think you're going to be leaving?
February 10th.
Oh, coming up.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. I think I'm out of here by May. That's when I finally, I can't just get in my car and go. I have to sell all this shit.
I'm gonna have to. It's gonna take me a while to get there. I got to rob all these gas stations on the way over. So
exactly, you'll be drained. You'll be drained.
Make sure you pack your poop nice and tight, square.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. You'll be drained by the time you get there. But nevertheless, you'll be happy.
Oh!
Thank you. As John takes his drink. Well, that's all we got. You guys got something coming up you want to plug there, John?
Absolutely. Poor Choice video series, drinking the worst liquor on earth. I do it every week. I drink the absolutely worst liquor, and I talk about it, live commentary. I take you through a little bit of history, and I drink it, and I tell you how we can come out of this a little bit better. On YouTube, hundreds of followers, thousands of views. Just type in Poor Choice. You see it right behind me. Poor Choice on YouTube. And please watch my show. I think it's very fun.
That sounds a great idea. And Cris?
Yeah, follow me on Twitter and Instagram.
Follow me in the van!
I'll be at the Spitfire Theater in St. Pete next weekend, or this weekend.
Well, there you go.
If anyone wants to come by.
You'll be gone. I'm going to be in St. Pete in March, so you'll be gone by then.
Yeah.
We're doing that. By the way, this week, guys, tomorrow night, I'll be in Orlando at the Tin Roof, headlining the early show at 7:30. Wednesday through Saturday, I'll be at the Comedy Cabana in Myrtle Beach. So come out and check it out. And we will have a show next week. We'll be back next week. My good friend Ahmed will be here with me, and another surprise guest. But don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Wake Up Dougie. Follow us on Instagram at the Wake Up Late with Dougie Show. And you can follow me. I got kicked off Twitter, my old one, lost 7,000 followers. My old Dougie Dangerous handle. Now I'm at Funny Fiduciary on Twitter. And, of course, on Instagram at Dougie Dangerous. Guys, thanks for watching. God bless. And you guys take care. And so glad I'm glad you're going to Austin, Cris, because now maybe I'll have a place to crash.
Oh, yeah, anytime.
Because I want to definitely check out the Texas scene.
Absolutely, man. Let me know.
So there you go. So we're gone, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll be back next week. And if you do miss anything, check out our Just the Clip series on our fan page on Facebook. A few funny moments from the shows. Very quick way to watch the shows and get some of the funniest moments from it. There you go. Thanks again, guys, joining us. And we're going to take it back to the studio to my producer, Cris.
What's up, Doug?
Well, there you go. Well, let's say goodbye to these fine people, shall we?
I hope everybody out there has a great week till next time.
Take care, everybody.
Wake up! Wake up! I'm not psycho! Wake up. Wake up.